All right, and we are back. You will notice there's no fancy intro, anything going on in these videos because I have learned that if I try to make my videos fancy, they never get made. So this is all going to be in one take. There will be no editing, which will hopefully I will not insert my foot into my mouth too many times as I'm doing this. But thank you to everyone who have been dropping me messages, comments, especially in my YouTube videos, saying how much some of the last videos that I made meant to you guys and that they're actually helpful for your shops. So I just wanted to continue to make these for you. I really do remember what it was like to be a new seller and how discouraging it can be. I also had a really great topic idea that I got today that I wanted to share with you guys. So today, okay, let me back this up. I've been doing Etsy now for over 10 years. This is my full-time job. I have 5 employees. I run 2 shops. I've done over 100,000 sales on Etsy. I love the platform. I love my job. I love my business. And I now also love helping other people to realize some of those same goals. So I don't ever tell you the number of sales, revenue, like any of that stuff is not to, I hope my main thing is I hope it doesn't ever discourage you, but if anything, it just encourages you because I want you to see what's possible. When I started my shop 10 years ago, one of my sister-in-laws, ironically, we're going to be talking about sister-in-laws a little bit today, told me I should sell on Etsy when I started making some earrings and stuff. And I was like, what's Etsy? Like I never even heard of the platform. Now, you know, years and years later, it's gained a lot of traction. Etsy's grown, I've grown. So now that I've been doing this, I do get people asking me, you know, a decent amount of questions about being on Etsy. A lot of people are thinking about starting them. And today I got a text also from a sister-in-law, although anonymity purposes, I actually, let me do some math real quick here. 9, 18, 20. I have probably close to 25 sister-in-laws. So one of those sister-in-laws, and again, it wasn't even the sister-in-law, it was my sister-in-law's sister-in-law. No, yes. Anyways, I've actually met this person before and we've had some communication. She's amazing. She's great. So I told her, she sent me this text and I was like, look, I'm going to respond to this in a YouTube video because people have been asking me to make more. And I know this is a question that is so important that a lot of you have out there. Okay. So I wrote down her text because technology hates me. I didn't know how to access my text while filming a video, so I copied it down for you. Her question went something like this. Tell me if you can relate here. I'm thinking about doing something to earn extra money / have something that's mine while I homeschool and raise my kids. Pause. Anyone who homeschools their kids has to be able to succeed on Etsy. To me, that sounds like 20 million times harder than doing almost anything. Kudos to anyone who homeschools their children. I think it's amazing. I have friends who do it. Again, we will go on tangents. This is one tangents, guys. This is one take, okay? I can't stop and edit, so you're just gonna have to get through all of my ramblings to get to the good stuff. Anyway, so she's amazing, point being. So I was thinking an Etsy shop, but I am not sure if that's worth it anymore because I'm so late to the game. Okay, now I got really fancy and I got online, not really. I did a quick Google search before I started making this video because I always have this kind of like rambling around in my head and I wanted to check it before we started talking about some of this stuff. So, and again, this was just like a 5-minute Google search. I didn't even like check my sources. So please feel free in a nice way if you can, because I am all about nicety in my life. Let me know if I messed up some of these numbers or facts. It's all good. I'm not saying they're 100%. It's just from my quick search. So Etsy started in 2005. I actually started my first shops in 2010. First shops. They're still the shops. They're the shops I'm running now. I have 2 shops. Started in 2010. Etsy is in 2005. Amazon started in 1995. So when we're talking like late to the game, it's just, that's always a really fascinating concept to me because there is something to be said for sure about being an early starter, which I was. Life happens, you get lucky. Luck is not a word I'm really big into you know, more serendipitous stuff. Like everything happens for a reason. We're learning, we're growing, we're all on this journey. But I started back in 2010 before Etsy was what it is today. And so I did have all of that time to kind of like build those sales and that momentum. So that being said, the same thing could be said for this YouTube channel. Like it'll be really interesting to see, because that's something that I've thought, like with YouTube, I'm like, should I even bother? There's already people talking about Etsy stuff and they do, you know, a great job. And Etsy, you know, YouTube has been around forever. And I feel like if you haven't been in there grinding at it, you're just going to get lost in the algorithm in the search. And so, I mean, same principles apply, right? So I'm still not fully committed to this YouTube channel idea. I love it. We'll just see where it goes at this point. So hopefully you can do better than me and one up me in your Etsy shop and commit to that after, if you decide after we talk about some of the pros and cons, if you think that's something that could still work for your life. Because I feel like that when people talk to being late to the game, I really still believe in my soul you can make anything work if you just have that like laser focus and like never give up, keep pushing, keep innovating, keep being creative in how you approach it and solve all of those problems. So, all right, I wanted to start today though. I've got on my little Post-its behind my phone here, because again, I'm so fancy. I wrote down just kind of off the top of my head when I was thinking about like if I were to just have responded to her text or given a phone call to her, like some of the things we would probably talk about when deciding if an Etsy shop is going to kind of like fill that need for her. Or for a lot of you, whatever your circumstances, whatever the reason is, something brought you to this video today. You are considering Etsy. Maybe you're already on Etsy, wondering if you should stay on Etsy. So I'm going to talk about some of the pros and cons. And just from, because I know you can find, you know, what are the pros to selling on Etsy? What are the cons? Here are the reasons. Like, if you haven't, there's some other stuff. I just think that sometimes people want like a real world experience from someone who's actually in there doing it, plugging away right now. So here are some of my thoughts. I want to start with the cons and then we'll go to the pros. So cons, for me personally, I feel like on the platform, there is a lot of competition. And to confirm my suspicion, and this seems so crazy, I'm not even sure it's like a legitimate statistic because again, I didn't fact check. I don't even remember my exact sources. If you do some Googling, maybe you'll find the same results. Maybe it's totally out there, but look at this. This is insane. I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Okay, I found a statistic that said on Etsy, guess how many sellers there are? Think about it. I know, you can put it in the comments. It doesn't matter. People can cheat, watch the video and say, oh, I knew it. Look, I put this number. Whatever. Okay, Etsy sellers, active sellers at like recently in the last like year or so, whatever. It said there was 5.3 million sellers on the Etsy platform. Okay, are you ready to be mind blown? Maybe you've already heard this before. Or again, maybe I'm completely off and you're gonna be like, no, those stats were so wrong. I read online on Amazon, there's 1.9 million sellers. That's got to be wrong, right? There's no way. Etsy has 5 million sellers and Amazon has 1 million sellers? 1.9. I guess they're close to 2. We'll say 2. I mean, basically almost like half the amount of sellers on Amazon compared to Etsy. So when I saw this, regardless of whether it's true or not, like I think the premise still applies. 5.3, I'm pretty sure that statistic is accurate, like the one that I was reading about how many active sellers there are on Etsy. 5.3 million sellers, that seems like a lot of competition because it is. So here's the thing. Now it's interesting because if you look at my shop, I have been selling on Etsy for almost 12 years now, about 12 years. I have never sold on Amazon. Now again, there's a whole other thing we could go into like Amazon selling, but I look at those numbers and I'm like, but I also know there is something to be said. I look at some of the pricing on Amazon and I get a little discouraged because I know it's just overseas stuff that's being resold. And I know you guys are going to say, but Etsy is starting to do that too. They say they're working on it. Hopefully they are. By and large, though, I love the Etsy community. I mean, we're going to get into all of those, the pros. So cons, there seems to be a lot of competition on Etsy. Feel like that's a pretty fair statement to make. even without verifying my facts. Okay. With that same consideration now, let's talk about buyers. I think this is also a slight con. So there seems to be a lot more buyers on Amazon than there are buyers on Etsy right now. Again, from my ridiculous research that I did. Where did I put that one? Sales, sellers. Okay, sales, yes. From what I saw, Etsy did about $238 million in revenue, which is nothing to shake a stick at, like, right? Or is something to shake a stick at? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a pretty good amount for Etsy, who didn't even, it was started by people just making stuff, wanted other people to make it, have a marketplace for it. I kind of liken Etsy to my business that I have right now. When I started on Etsy, I didn't know it was actually going to become a business, like legit. I was solopreneur for years before I even hired my first assistant. And I was in that same boat. I wanted to be at home with my kids a little more. Gosh, we could go into all kinds of fun stuff about this whole backstory. We all have stories, right? How we get where we are. But basically, I didn't ever imagine it becoming an actual business with employees. And now we're growing even more. Like, I could make so many videos about all the fun, exciting stuff I have planned. I want to branch outside of Etsy a little bit more. Maybe not Amazon, maybe Amazon, who knows? We'll see. I'll keep you informed. We'll do more videos. But the fact is, Amazon did $2,000 million in sales recently. Again, from my terrible fact checking. Okay, point being, the ratio to buyers and sellers seems to favor another, and I'm just using Amazon as an example because that's e-commerce. I mean, I feel like it's a pretty fair comparison, although I know, like, the people who buy on Etsy are not always the same that are buying on Amazon. They're looking for different things. They're wanting different things. But I do wish Etsy could capture, and I know, like you said, like, there's some huge freak out about the fees being raised. Not to get all political and crazy on here. Me personally, I was all about raising those fees because I hope that I trust Etsy. I've been around long enough on the platform. Again, this is like my livelihood now, but I really hope they're going to use that small percentage increase of fees to attract more buyers. That being said, another great way that we can get more buyers on the platform is to be buyers ourselves on the platform. So I know everyone's in different situations, and this is something I even need to do a little bit more. But find excuses. If you're going to buy something, maybe look on Etsy. Maybe you're already doing a fabulous, phenomenal job of that. But I feel like as sellers, the more we talk about it, the more we're shopping on there, having good experiences, also giving our customers good experiences. Like, I did some personal Christmas shopping on Etsy, and I was a little sad and disappointed because some of the shops that I reached out to trying to purchase things from, like, they either just completely ghosted me, they didn't respond to my messages, they would cancel my orders, they would never ship my order. Like, and again, I get it. I've had times where inventories, supply chain craziness, but I'm messaging my customers. I'm letting them know, like, I am so sorry. This charm we thought was going to be here is taking 2 months. Do you want to cancel your orders? Do you want to wait and have it shipped then? Point being, like, if we're all doing that, like, taking care of our customers, we're talking about the platform in a great way with our family, we're friends, we're buying stuff that we love, telling people about it. Again, tangent, I would love to see the number of buyers increasing on Etsy. So, next con. This might be a while. Holy cow, we're already at 15 minutes. You guys are troopers if you hang in there with me. Okay. Control. This is one that you're going to find a lot on those websites. Sorry, don't touch my mic. That will make a loud noise. I'm actually a broadcasting major. One of these days I'm going to get brave enough to reach out to my professor that was my broadcasting professor and be like, hey, I made a YouTube channel. Go check it out. But right now I feel like it's so lacking in so many areas that I'll wait till I polish them up maybe a little more before I tell him. Because he'll be like, did you learn nothing in my classes? What are you doing? Okay, don't touch your microphone. Control. I wish I had more control over my Etsy shop, but in all fairness, that's going to be any platform, any marketplace that you sell on, short of like your own personal website or whatever. I mean, even social media is that way. Like, you can put all of this time and effort into your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikToks, your everything you're doing right now, and they can shut down the next day and you have no control over that. So that is one of the reasons why, yes, I love making Etsy videos. I love helping people with their Etsy shops. I've gotten pretty good at it over the years. I also definitely am trying to expand my horizon a little bit more so I can not put people in the same situation where I am. Like, I feel like that's a lot of eggs in one basket. And I do have some really cool stuff that we're doing. And again, that could be a whole other video to talk about as far as different revenue streams and platforms and things that we've started trying to use a little bit more. But I don't like that is something that doesn't sit well with me. But again, that's the same thing for Amazon. Lord knows Amazon shuts down sellers for crazy nothing. And they're like, what happened? And their whole business is gone. So point being, diversity, like we all know, is always going to be your friend here. All right, my final con that I had written down, something that, again, as a seller now have done, being on Etsy for 12 years, that I'm still kind of like, not saying that this is like, don't get on this platform because of this, but it is something to consider, is scalability. So I feel like if you go into it understanding and knowing that I do better than I did and don't just sell on Etsy, but maybe look for some other options, you'll be a little better set. So now that I have my 2 businesses, they're up and going, I've noticed it's hard to scale. I am in the top 1% of all sellers in both of my shops as far as sales volume. And I don't think Etsy's really set up to quite yet handle some of the amount of sale volumes. I'm running into a lot of like inventory management issues and just some things like that. I'm a part of this program that Etsy does now. It's Etsy U, their Etsy University. So I've actually had the opportunity to talk with some of the people over at Etsy and explain this problem to them. I know it's on their docket. I also understand as a business owner, like there's a million like hopes and dreams and to-dos you want to do, and it's just finding the time, the resources, the bandwidth to do them. So hopefully they can start improving some of those things so scalability is possible. I've even thought about this concept, and again, I could be wrong. I don't think you're allowed to sell an Etsy shop. Like, I think I Googled it a while back, so maybe things have changed. But my understanding is if you start this Etsy shop, you cannot sell your business later on. Because again, not saying my business is my baby right now, but thoughts, cross my mind. And I'm like, I don't even think that's an option for me at this stage in the game. Like, even if I wanted to, I don't think I could sell my business, which I'm like, that's kind of... Again, it's my baby. I don't want to sell my baby, at least not right now. I can't even imagine selling it, but I hear other people doing it and you start other things. And I mean, I have been making jewelry for 12 years. Like that's a long time. Like people do career changes. Okay. It's okay. But that's not at this point something that I can do with just my Etsy shops that I own. So how do you feel about that? Those I feel like, and again, to this particular sister-in-law. So when you're thinking about those things for your particular situation, how viable does that matter? The fact that you have maybe some more competition, maybe there's less buyers, you have less control, you can't scale it as well, okay? So just keep kind of like mulling those around. Now I want to talk about more favorite things. I'm a very glass half full person. I want to talk about some of the pros, why selling on Etsy is so awesome. Okay. The number one thing, like I write, it's first here on my list, easy off the top of my head, like kind of like what's one of the best reasons to sell on Etsy? And it's kind of like, boom, that's like my answer for me personally, the ease. I'm trying to not let this define me because I know it's just like a negative self-belief I've created in a way. And anyways, point being, I feel like technology and I are not always simpatico. I really have a hard time. Like I said, even like this is stopping me like making these YouTube videos because even as a broadcasting major, guys, I know there's iMovie, I have an Apple. It's probably not that hard, but for some reason, something with technology, if you guys watch my live stream I just did for the Etsy U program, it was like, I don't want to say embarrassing because we've all got our things. And I'm like, you know what? This is me. Take it or leave it. But I could not figure out how to do like move this one screen over to this section and everyone was like trying to help me and it was terrible. I'm not great with technology. Also, not that I am like an Amazon hater per se. I mean, pros and cons there. I could do a whole video on that. But that's one of the reasons I haven't got on Amazon, because it's so much freaking harder. Like I've tried a couple times just to tinker around with it. Yeah, maybe I'll list a couple things, see how they do. And it seems so hard to me. I don't know why. And I get it. When you're starting on Etsy, when you're setting up your shop, there is some tech involved. And because I've been doing it so long, it is very second nature to me. It's click here, do this, click there, click there, click there. So, I mean, I'm not trying to downplay that. There is some technical skills you do still need to have. And it's probably just because I've done it so long, it seems so much easier to me. But by and large, I feel like it's easy. I didn't even write this on there, but it's also cheap to start an Etsy shop. You pay your 20 cents to list an item, and that's kind of it from what I remember. I mean, you can do the I can't even think of the name, you know, where you pay the extra money and you get like a banner and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. That's not even necessary. You pay 20 cents to list an item, unless I'm forgetting something because it's just been too long. But yeah, and that's it. Like, and you can start, you can take pictures and just see how it goes. Like, the only thing you really have to lose on Etsy in starting a shop is time. I feel like Etsy has done a phenomenal job at making it easy to start a shop. And that is one of the reasons I say yes, start an Etsy shop, because it will be so much easier to do that than your own way, at least from my experience. This is my experience. Again, maybe it's just because I've been doing it so long. Maybe starting a website now is easier than it has been, because I've tried that a couple times and hasn't really worked out thus far. We're working on it. But Etsy is the one that I found that has stuck, that it's like, it gets you going. Like, put your stuff up there. Just start with the photos, start with the, sorry, that's probably loud too. Just go. And that's one of the main reasons that I love Etsy so much, is because of the ease. Okay, next, tools and resources. I feel like right now, even though there's a lot of competition, if you are here watching this video, I feel like you are already putting yourself ahead of your competition. The fact that you're even aware and cognizant of, oh, there's resources out there. There's help that I can get. There's blogs I can read. There's YouTube videos I can watch. There's the seller handbook on Etsy, actually has some phenomenal information in it as far as what you can do to kind of like get a little bit ahead of those people who they don't even know that. Like, that was me for years and years and years. It finally, I mean, I was always like reading blog articles and stuff, but I have like OG like YouTubers that I followed for years. And like, I would say probably 90% of them aren't even doing Etsy anymore for what, you know, moved on, whatever. But I learned so much from that stuff. And so you're taking the time to listen to my ramblings and tangents. That means you care, you're motivated. Like, that is sometimes like half the battle, is finding those tools, finding those places where you can actually get real, useful, helpful information. Hopefully my channel can be one of those things for you. Again, there's a lot of other resources. I could probably make another whole video about that, just cool resources and tools that I use even still to this day to help me with my Etsy business. All right. Oh, yes. Next thing. I was like reading my note, like, what is that again? Okay. This is another pro that I feel to selling on Etsy. And it kind of goes along with the one I put below it too. But right now, in this very current state of everything happening, have you guys heard of, like, I think they're calling it the Great Resignation. It seems like amongst all the crazy, insane, everything else that's been going on, there's also been this interesting, almost kind of like awakening, I feel. And for me, it's really interesting. I kind of went on this path of like self-discovery, self-improvement. I bought like this one book that was like a little bit life-changing. I'll share that again in another video. But after I read it, it was like something just clicked, you know, again, not snapping too loud, and I was like, oh my gosh, what do I love? What do I want to do? What do I want to keep doing? And so it was like it's this continuous journey that I've been on, that I feel like a lot of people are on. Case in point, sister-in-law, I still want to be flexible with my time, but do something I love. And this is definitely, again, I could go off on a whole, not a bad thing. That sounded like a bad noise. No edits, guys. I would have edited that out. But there's something special, like with kind of like the mom space in some ways of wanting to be there with your kids, have that time. And it's not just, I know it's not just moms, dads are feeling it too. Just in my personal life, in my circle, amongst friends and things, like I feel it's so important. I think being there with your kids as much, as little, whatever works best for you in your life. But I really personally, my personal opinion is if you have something in your life that you love and you're so passionate about, and exactly the way my sister-in-law put this in her text, that's mine. Like, this is my thing. I'm doing it. I love it. It's even if it's not a business, I'm obsessed with businesses and entrepreneurship, but that's okay. I have many, many friends who are like, I don't even understand what you're talking about, and I still love you and think you're great to hang out with, but I really don't care about all your business crazy. But whatever it is, if you find something that you love, and that's one of the, back to the pros of Etsy, I promise I'm getting there. Etsy gives you that opportunity, even more so, I feel like personally, than any other kind of like platform or thing that's out there. It's baked into the system. People understand when they're coming to Etsy, for the most part, like this is a shop that is a small business a lot of the times that's putting something out there into the world that they love, that they created, that they care about, you know? And I feel like Etsy is a great avenue for that. So whether you're making, you know, like if you've had 100,000 sales, I know there's shops on Etsy that have had over 1 million sales. If you've had 10 sales, like whatever it is, if you can just find that love and joy, I feel like it's so much easier from a business standpoint to do something you love. If you love like going overseas and finding stuff and selling it at a marked up price on Amazon, like do that. There's people that do, and I think they probably love their businesses and make a lot of money doing it, and that's great. But for me, like I love that creative outlet that Etsy allows me. And it's interesting because I don't know, I need to make the show notes for this episode. I don't know what I'm going to put there yet. I guess I'll put my like jewelry shop and my supply shop in case you want to see those. But I have a handmade jewelry shop, and then I have a jewelry supply shop where I sell jewelry supplies that I still love, because then it allows other people to use their creativity to make their own jewelry, which I think is super cool. But the jewelry shop lights me up quite a bit more than the supply shop. I do the supply shop, I love it, but I feel like I focus and put a lot more TLC into that jewelry shop, my handmade jewelry shop, because it's just like coming up with the new designs and photographing them and watching what sells and what doesn't and tweaking and learning. Like it's very, I don't know, I just love it. It's exciting. And I would love for more people to have that. Something that you love. There's something so special about creating something, putting it in the world, and watching other people receive joy from it. Whether it's like making a YouTube video. Guys, I am making another YouTube video because people took the time, were brave enough to leave comments. I even got like a sweet message from people saying like, thank you, like this improved my life. And that's like, I wish I'll probably, again, if I make more videos, like thank all the people that have helped me along my journey. Like a lot of, you know, for lack of a better word, like influencer, but I follow those people. I'm a podcast junkie. I listen to so many podcasts, which I'm like, oh, I wish I could figure out technology to figure out how to make this a podcast. It would be great. For now, we'll just stick to YouTube. But there's so many people that have given to me in my life and like brought me joy. And so whether it's, you know, creating a YouTube video or creating a bar of soap that someone has in their home and it's scented and they love it and it was a gift, whatever it is, like that's special. And that's what Etsy brings to the table for me. And that's one of the reasons I still recommend it to people, because I'm like, at the end of the day, I know money is awesome. Money is great. It does a lot of really amazing, or it can do a lot of really amazing things depending on how we use it. But there's also something very special about finding that thing you love. And if you have something like that, you're like, I'm making this thing, I'm designing it. Even like I said, even if you're not the one, like if you're getting that made and you're coming up with the design, because I know that's allowed on Etsy now. But I don't know, to me, that's like almost priceless sometimes. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, it's like you only get one life. We all get so many years. We don't even know how many that's going to be. Like, do something you love that makes you happy. Hopefully the money will just follow that naturally. Again, it takes hard work. And mostly not giving up. Go back and watch the video on my 5 top tips for succeeding on Etsy. But I think with everyone's current state, finding something you love and you're passionate about, like that's the real thing that like Etsy nails just a little bit more than Amazon, unless you're one of those people, like I said, who enjoys that, like boop, finding the thing, reselling the thing. I think they even do a lot of like drop shipping stuff. Oh yeah, because you do the Amazon FBA. Like they don't even see the product a lot of the time. Whereas me, I like my product-based business. I like to package up. I don't actually package the orders anymore, but I still come up with like the packaging designs, and I have I love the women that I work with right now that do such a phenomenal job at that, like so phenomenal. If you guys go back and read the reviews, a lot of that is just who I have making the jewelry right now, because she does an incredible job. So anyways, okay, pros, cons. So I think that's all for today. I'm just gonna sign off because otherwise I know I'll just go on a million tangents. And from what I know about Etsy, you're supposed to end quickly so people don't just like sign off and stop listening to you, because that is bad, I think, or something. So I'm gonna say goodbye for now. Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to learn more with me, and leave a comment if you have other questions or things, because this is something, again, I think I might be doing a little more of if I can just keep forcing myself and figure out this technology piece to get this posted. Leave a comment if you have questions or if there's anything you wanted to add to this. I love to hear from you guys. We'll talk to you later.